It's lovely here, isn't it? It wasn't always like this, though.
2 billion years ago, the biggest known meteor strike in Earth's history happened right here. The only visible remnants of this catastrophic event are these hills. The impact shook the planet so violently that gold was pushed towards the surface.
This is where the story of South African gold begins.
Fast forward a couple of billion years, and on a site nearby, prospectors struck gold. Back then, it was open farmland. Today, we call it Johannesburg. Mines sprang up all around. To turn a profit, the owners wanted a large but cheap labor force. So, new regulations came in that pressurized black workers to leave their farms and go down the mines.
I remember as a kid, growing up in the 80s, seeing images of miners from South Africa. You know, the strikes, apartheid, and I always wondered what their lives were actually like. So now, today, I'm going to actually find out.
One of the first gold mining companies in Johannesburg was Crown Mines, where I'm meeting Franz Bellini. A miner during the apartheid years, Franz eventually became General Secretary of the National Union of Mine Workers.
So Franz, is this the type of lift you used to go to work in?
No, the one we used was much bigger.
Bigger.
A deck takes about 50 people.
50 people in one?
In one deck, and there will be 3 decks, so that's 150 people at a time.
And how deep did you go?
I was going up 3.6 kilometers underground in seconds. It takes seconds to get underground.
Seconds?
Not minutes, seconds.
It must have been warm.
It was very hot. Sometimes goes to 50 degrees Celsius.
To my relief, this mine is just a bit cooler.
Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
Crown Mines is no longer active, but in its heyday, it employed thousands, including Nelson Mandela, who worked here as a security guard.
Mind your head, low-hanging wall. That's for me, not for me. So, Fran, what was the working conditions like? Were you looked after? I mean, we're talking about the 70s, yeah?
Yeah. The era of apartheid, we were not really looked after. We were almost like slaves because what they needed is your labor, nothing else.
What time did you start work?
You used to start at 4 a.m.
You worked 5 days a week?
We work 6 days a week. You work for 12 hours, but on condition that you finish your job. If it happens for some delays because of support system, you did not finish your job, it might be more than 12 hours.
Really?
Yep.
Did you have breaks?
No, there's no breaks, there's no lunch, underground, no.
There's no hiding from the fact that gold mining played a major part in shaping South African society during the apartheid years. But with gold comes power. And those gold miners, they knew that.
In 1987, over 300,000 black miners went on strike over pay and conditions, bringing gold production to a standstill for 3 weeks. Franz was one of their leaders.
It shocked the industry because it was the first time that black workers in an organized form can take so many days on a strike.
And then after the 21-day strike, did you feel, could you sense a difference? Could you feel that apartheid was on its way out?
After the strike, it sent a clear message to then National Party that the clock is ticking. Remember, the economy was lying around gold. So we actually touched the engine room of the economy of the apartheid government at that time. So gold miners used their gold power to fight apartheid.
Wow, that's really powerful, eh? So deep mining for gold back then doesn't sound much fun. Nope.
30 years after the end of apartheid, it's a different world. So I wonder what mining is like now. South Deep Mine, just outside Johannesburg, is one of the deepest in the world. But it's what's not underground that makes this mine so unusual. This might look like a regular dump truck until you realize there's no driver. You see, the really cool thing about South Deep
Hello. Hi.
is that unlike a traditional underground mine, much of its heavy machinery is operated remotely, 3 kilometers up on the surface.
Hello. I'm Idris.
I'm Madeleine.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. How long have you been can I call you a miner? Are you a miner?
Yes, I'm a miner.
But this doesn't look like mining.
Kind of crowd.
This doesn't look like traditional mining. Have you ever been in traditional mining?
Yes, I did. I was an operator before. I was driving that big dump trucks.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
So now I moved to the control room to operate, which means I've moved with the technology.
These consoles look like something out of a gamer's paradise.
So talk me through what you're doing exactly.
This is a tele-remote rock breaker. This joystick is controlling the boom, and then it also controlling the hammer.
This is like playing computer games,
Yeah.
right?
South Deep's owners began the switch to automated mining back in 2018. Since then, they have mined more gold, more safely. And that's not all. There are black South Africans in key positions, like general manager and head of operations. And a lot more women.
Mining industry was male dominant.
Okay.
So these days is a gender balance. There are ladies who are miners, crew leaders, and then the production supervisors.
That's great. So do you prefer being here or down there?
I'll prefer to be here.
Of course.
Yes.
It's fascinating to see how skills have changed. But there's something else gold mines can't do without. You see, a deep mine like this needs a lot of energy. Enough to power a small town. But South Africa relies on old coal power stations that keep breaking down. Bad for business and bad for the environment. So, South Deep lobbied the government to allow them to build the country's first large-scale industrial solar plant. It provides about a quarter of the mine's needs. And it might even be the trigger for a step change in the way South Africa uses renewables.